Hey, real life traders from around the world, what's going on? It's me, Jeremy Alexander Newsome with reallifetrading.com. Hope everyone's doing fantastic. I'm back from Iceland. Hope you had a great week without me. I'll be posting some pictures here at the very end of the stock review if you were interested. Just be like a quick, 20-second slideshow. I'll throw some images in there for you. But let's talk markets really quick. Great move, my goodness, on the 21st. What a brilliant day. So the Newsome indicator did not go 8 for 8. So it's only 7 for 8 right now. Anytime I travel, the market has a little bit of a tank session. It was hard to be bearish, though, after this incredibly strong bullish gap and go on the 16th of November. Then you got this pennant pattern right there, and we gapped out of that with a flawless retest gap. So we made an all-time high again on Friday. We made another all-time high again today on the SPY. I mean, right now the trend is your friend, you know? Go get some drinks together, go watch a movie, maybe play some poker, but it's bullish. So whenever it pulls back, wherever you want to buy it, buy the dip. Dow Jones, new all-time high today. Q's, new all-time high today. Today is actually almost 1 penny away from a perfect doji. Again, a little bit of volume spike today, but again, the volume was low going into the holidays, as it usually is. So nothing to really see, nothing ironically new on the broader market ETFs. This retest was ridiculous on IWM. I feel like it was just so simple. Just check out this retest. Look at this. Breakout, pulled right back, retest, and back. Oh my goodness, so easy to play, I feel like. I love it. Let's go look at some individual stocks. So played 2 day trades today. Time Warner was one of them. And here is the 5-minute chart. It was just a small little move. Could have done it a little bit better. It wasn't anything gloriously gratuitous. We got in with this low of the day breakdown, the stop right about here, and got out around there for about 1/4 of an R. Could have had a little bit longer, but I think I was fading quickly. I didn't have any food in my system, and I was hungry, and I just wanted to leave for lunch. So Time Warner made a little bit of a small gain on, and then QD. This is a new IPO, and you'll notice it had a black candle gapping up, right? It didn't clear any pivots. There were a few good gaps today. I missed 3 of the main ones that I wanted to get into, and we're going to look at those in just a second. But QD had a little bit of a bullish gap. My buddy Ricky helped me with this trade. Here's the 5-minute chart, and we played it very simply. It gapped up, it retested, and then it formed this little pennant pattern looking thing right here. So we got in bullish there, or the stop there, and that was it. We exited right here, right there for 0.7 Rs on QD. So overall, a small gain on those. And then WING, this is Wingstop, aka Wing Zone. I decided to get out of this particular bullish entry as well. So we got triggered in on this one, almost the exact low on the 17th of November. Still a very good bullish trend, pulled down to the 10, and just decided to take an R off the table on this one and just kind of move on. So those are the trades that we took today. Obviously, WDC was on the list as well. Missed this one by about a minute. So here was a retest gap because it was a black candle gapping down on Western Digital. Let me point directly to the candles that meant the most. This was a very strong candle, and the fact that we were opening below that candle and this bullish candle and that bullish candle, all 3 of those candles, it was a pretty bearish gap. Also, the long-term moving averages were a little bit of a thing, 87.76. So what I wanted was a close below those moving averages on a shorter term time frame, and then I wanted it to retest. So here's the 5-minute chart, and you'll notice the 5-minute chart, it did actually retest into that price. So here's the trade down, here's the retest, and here's the rollover on the 5-minute. Pretty classic. You've seen that exact pattern before. If you turn on the pre-market chart, here's the pre-market, and here's how we tried to play it. Again, I was just a little bit too slow. So I had it on the 1-minute chart. It was a very, very good gap, I felt like. And let me just kind of get this data here. Okay, perfect. There's the 1 minute. And so you'll notice right before the market opened, a nice little high wave candle. It broke below that, 87. This was the entry. Stop was right about here. And I wanted it to close It did close, it was retesting, and as I was getting the price typed in, this candle was forming, and we missed it by about, like I said, about 60 seconds, and it never came back and filled. So unfortunately missed WDC, but that happens, right? That was the analysis. I mean, again, I love this candle in the first 5 minutes. I love this breakdown. I love the retest. That was the time to short. You know, nice little rollover. Obviously, the talk of the town today, ticker symbol SQ. And this was a very interesting move. Pretty reasonable, I feel like. I mean, nothing's going to go up forever, right? This is probably one of the most traded and talked about stocks on the real life trading board of stocks. But I mean, down here at $10, guys, this thing has increased almost 500% in a year and a half, less than a year and a half. I mean, nothing does that forever, right? So you've got to get a little bit of a pullback. This was a bearish gap and go. And what's mostly very interesting about this trade is this volume right here. So you had massive volume on Square. White candle gapping up to an all-time high. This was on Wednesday of last week. So this is a hangman reversal candle, but the volume is really the takeaway on Square. Massive volume, the biggest bearish volume that it's ever had, and it's occurring at an all-time high after a white candle is gapping up. So you're going to think this is going to pull back a little bit. Maybe not necessarily as big as it did today, but what was really interesting is the high of Friday was 1 penny above the high of Wednesday. What does that mean? Well, it means people who are terrible traders probably got in bullish above the breakout of this candle. Right? They didn't want to buy the dip. They were chasing the trade. So 1 penny above, they probably hopped on, formed a little bit of a white candle, and when it gapped down today, everybody just got trapped. Here's the 5-minute chart, and we did look at this one all day long. The best trade to have taken this afternoon, and I did mention this in the room, was get in with the low of the day of the break with a stop around here. If you took that trade, very, very nice setup on Square. That happened, of course, right as I was closing the room. But anyway, it was a really good move on Square. What's going to go on from here? What's happening? Well, it's down 16% in a day. A lot of profit taking. Most real life traders were chatting about this one in detail, like hour-long conversations on our Slack channel last week. So here's our Slack channel. Let me just see if I can scroll up and find this conversation. SQ. I mean, there were so many about this. I don't know if I can even find this. 71 results. There's going to be a lot of results. Yeah, again, we talk about this one a lot. Let me just kind of roughly scroll up into here. I do still think that Square goes higher, longer term, and buy the dip is really what I'm selling, or what I'm saying. Okay, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Just a lot of great chatter, a lot of good stuff, a lot of good content. You know, Thanksgiving pictures. What do we got here? So this is Friday, so it's definitely before then. So it's before the gap happened, right? Again, there's a lot of traders talking about what to do, how to protect themselves. I'm just going to keep scrolling until I find it, because at this point, it's like a mission. Okay, so here we go. So Charles and a few other traders talking about setting up a collar on the shares of SQ. Collar being, you know, buying some protective puts, selling some calls. Charles was talking about selling his Square at 9:58 on Friday. 24 replies. So a very long thread is what I'm trying to get at. And anyway, SQ, very strong gap down today. It is a good move. It has pulled down to the 20. I do think we're going to go a little bit lower, potentially. But keep in mind, we are at the 20 EMA. Could we bounce tomorrow? Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, on Square, for me personally, I'm looking at a buy the dip opportunity. I think we could go down 32.50 is the lowest. 50 EMA, if we make it down to 36, I'm definitely going to be buying some more on SQ. Again, if we make it down to the 50 EMA. I'm expecting an inside day candle tomorrow on Square. Maybe a little bit of a bullish candle. But again, if we get a small inside day candle tomorrow and we bounce Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm cool to be bullish. This is a pullback. This is a healthy pullback. And my quarter 2, 2018 target, so maybe quarter 1, but probably, I don't know, January, February. That's where I think Square can get to. Now, again, keep in mind, Square did hit my 2017 target. right? So that's a reason that a lot of people were selling. It was just a very oversold spot. There was a lot of signals, a lot of discussion, and here it is right here. So targets on SQ from here, this was posted back on November the 14th, and my end of the year target, 46.78. We didn't get much higher than that. So that's my thoughts on Square. Let's move on to the next one. Apple and then Shopify. Apple, hanging out. This little red line is kind of what Mr. Squiggles drew about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We would trade down, trade up, trade down, and then bounce again. That's exactly what we did. Phenomenal bullish gap here on the 21st of November. I hope someone scored big on that. I know my buddy Julian from Argentina smoked that bad boy for 3.5 hours. So Julian, high five to you, my man. Very well done. From here, I mean, you probably get some good store sales numbers from Apple, I'm assuming, and a little bit of a pennant pattern forms, and we trade sideways, then we eventually go higher. It's Apple. If you do have some shares of 190 January covered calls paying 80 cents, that's really not that terrible. PayPal had another all-time high today. So PayPal this was my note on PayPal before I left. If PayPal fills this gap down next week, might trade to the 50 EMA. That has not happened or did not happen. So if PayPal pulls back to the 20 and or the 50, I think it's a buyable event. BABA had a little bit of a pullback today, which is totally cool. It just traded to its previous all-time high right here. Nice little resistance. Again, retest gap right there. So it makes sense that we're going to be pulling back a little bit and then potentially bouncing on BABA. So keep your eyes peeled on that one. And Shopify, we watched Shopify all day today. It was a white candle gapping up, which is a retest gap. What I'm looking for on Shopify is a pullback down to a potentially 108, 107, and then a bounce. Longer term, I like Shopify about as much as I like Square. This is another top 10 most traded or most held stocks that most real life traders have. It's a really fun one. Here's the weekly chart, very obvious double bottom. So start planning what you're going to be doing on Shopify pretty ASAP. And let's look at two more, Twitter and then AMT for my girl Kimberly. So Twitter, my friend Brian Montgomery is playing this one, and I don't remember the trader who messaged me about this trade, and I apologize for that. But here was the trader was mentioning, is this a rest after battle pattern? Was that it or was this it? I think it was over here. Yes. Anyway, at some point there was a trader saying, hey, Jeremy, is Twitter at a rest after battle pattern and does it look bullish to you? And I said, yes. And he said, where should you have your stop? I was like, well, where do you have your stop now? And that trader said, I think 1912 or something. I was like, yeah, it looks good. So whoever that trader was, I hope you made some good money on it the last 2 or 3 weeks. Very, very good pop on Twitter. And Brian Montgomery, good job for getting an hour and a half on this one today. And here's American Tower, which is this is a trade I was looking at for Kimberly. A lot of traders keeping their eyes on this one. Had a very nice retest gap right there. And what did we do? The craziest thing. We retested. And we got a one white soldier candle on Friday and got a higher high and a higher low on AMT. So if everyone looking at trading that one bullish, it makes sense to me. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for me today in your Monday real life stock review. Remember, some of you might have gotten an email about a Black Friday special for real life trading. That's going to expire in a few hours. So if you're hearing my voice and you want in on the afternoon room for less than we normally sell it for, today is Cyber Monday. Get in quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Get in fast. If you have any requests between now and Wednesday, get them in. I'll see you on Wednesday. And until then, remember, love life, live life, and trade it. You rock. Bye.